on education in our culture. The subcontinent, especially about which I'm familiar, it's very important. It's part of our life. We don't think about it. There are cases where people have sold their land to educate their youngsters. I have a friend who got his PhD from Cornell. His father, a small businessman, Vash Bania, in an Agra district village, sold his land to send him here. We, if our feet touch a book, we uh, pick it up and put it to our head and apologize. Guru, the teacher, Ustad, is somebody who is highly respected. In our history, Akbar the Great, although himself not literate in the sense of reading and writing, but a great man otherwise, emphasized learning. His Navratna, the people he had, Kennedy followed that example in selecting his people on that sort of pattern. And Akbar the Great had left a land record system which is in place today without too many changes. In our old literature, in Gita, for instance, there is a stanza, Yeshamna Vidyana Tapona Danam. Somebody who doesn't have education, learning, is not going to be successful. I needn't translate. So these are the type of things that have become part of us, have become part of our DNA, so to say. And but before we get carried away, we should have a statistical correction. Our success here is also determined by the type of people who came. Self-selection, good immigrants came. So we have to keep that in mind. We have achieved, we are less than 1% of the population here, and we have 3% of the engineers that are Indian Americans, 7% of the IT workers, and 8 to 10% physicians and surgeons. And our students in Ivy League and other good institutions are in a very large proportion of the total. Well, the result is obvious. We have 69% of the population of Indian Americans who are 25 years or older. They have college degrees, 69%, compared to about half of that for all whites. So, emphasis on education. Cultural factors are very, very important. Some also say that we are smarter. It's just the IQ is higher. One study I saw said Indian Americans have an IQ of 112, based on backward digit span system. IQ is very hard to measure. Acquired knowledge interferes. We don't know how much we have learned that way and how much is our IQ. But according to one study I recently saw, white Americans have 100 IQ, Indian Americans have 112. We are in the range of Ashkenazi Jews who are famously intelligent people, 110 IQ. And we have
I have,
support of. Hello?
yes, I have a question, Dr. Singh. Sorry to interrupt you, but the question is this, that why Americans are so successful, and there is a pattern. They either go to some very good convent school, for example, Doon School, Sherwood, and those kind of schools in India, and then they go to IIT, and then they go to Harvard Business School. So there is a pattern there. Can you throw some light on that, please? That
Uh,
people from there are very successful.
the reason is that um, our education system is a bit lopsided. Our municipal schools, public schools, public school is not a good term because um, the schools you mentioned are called public schools. They are very private. Um, we so people who could afford would send their children to these, and once they saw the product, they then others did it. So it was because people with resources sent there, and then with their basic desire to learn more and to succeed in life and bring name to the family and fame, all those cultural factors, as I mentioned, they then pushed on, and then they know when if somebody, a relation of mine, went for PhD to London before Second World War when I was a kid, and it I said, okay, I'll go to England, which was the thing to do in those days. You all are much younger than me, but at that time, US was regarded as an upstart country. So I think then this, people who have gone there, you know how to enter those institutions. You are given preference because your brother or your uncle went there, and so it then continued. And they are, of course, good institutions. So that was the magnet. Does that answer your
Is there
question?
like they form a net? Yes, is there like they form a net of all the successful people, and then they kind of have their group to interact, and then they have kind of a base kind of a thing, like a base of friends or colleagues, you can
Oh,
say,
yeah,
who went to the same school, and then later in life, they kind of help each other.
certainly.
Because
Certainly.
when I read about successful people, there is a pattern there. If they are from India, there is a either they have gone to some very nice uh, gone to IIT, and then later in life somewhere they have attended Wharton or Harvard Business or Yale. So there is a pattern there of success. So can you throw some light on that, please?
Yes, you you develop this. Uh, Somebody has gone there, and as I said, I was impressed by this distant relation who went to London before the war, and
Uh-huh.
relations, friends, they advise you, and naturally, one is partial to the place they went, and then they would recommend if you are a marginal case, you may get an assistantship, if not a full fellowship, and it works that way. A support system develops. You hear about those, and it works exactly in. And our society, these things are more important. We
Your
interact
line
more.
is now unmuted.
So you are right. These are the type of factors
I
that work.
I I see. So my question is like to the who me. Dr. Singh, can you go first? What does success
What does
mean?
success mean?
Success, it's very difficult to define. It
Your voice.
goes by the cultural setting, but we have a very big emphasis on the economic side, the finances. I'm successful if I got good education, which got me a good job. Uh, to me, success, I measure success by what I do with the resources I'm provided. If I had a family who could send me to any school, who could, um, that doesn't mean that the success that I achieve on the shoulders of my father and my family and my friends, it doesn't demean it, but success is if somebody had no resources and then he came up and worked very hard, to me that person is successful. Whereas some of us fortunate ones, um, we we had the resources, we had the environment, we had the motivation, we saw it all around us, and we succeeded. So success is achieving things, and then also in being a good person all around. I mean, if I'm successful as an economist or as a UN civil servant or as a diplomat, fine. If I achieve something, that's not to be sneezed at. But at the same time, it should mean something to society. I should, if I'm lucky, I should give back to society. So in success, I immediately in financial terms I think of people like Bill Gates who were extremely successful, and then they thought of mankind in general and gave big chunks. He not only gave his own good bit of his fortune to these causes, he persuaded others. The success is achieving what I can with the resources I was given and then returning to society. Our goal should be to give back more than we achieved. So that's the way I look at people who are successful. Does that answer?
So yes, it's a very good answer. Now one more question, sir. To ask you, there is a very thin line between success and thrill, and that's how, when people go astray. Can you throw some light on that, that after you achieve a lot, so you want to achieve more, and that's where you go astray? So, can you throw some light on that, that what is actual success and what is thrill? At what point the thrill comes in the in a successful person's life? Do they get thrill to success, that they get thrill out of it? people who make lot of money, they want to make, people who have lot of houses, they want to buy more houses, to cite some examples.
Yes, it does. They see what they can do with the fruits of their successful life, and some of them get carried away, and that when you come to the book discussion, this is one of the major subtexts of your discussion topic today. Um, they go
Mm-hmm.
astray. They have too much, and they get cut off from common people. They move their own circles. Excuse me. They move in their own circles, and then they uh, it is thrilling. They feel that they are invincible. They can do this, as again in the book that you will be discussing.
So like,
These they just
so
keep
like
going.
you think they are very happy once they become successful, and suppose making more money or moving in their own circle, so they are kind of cut from the common people, and they just want to make or more houses, luxury cars. So do you think like it is kind of a thrill, they get happy only by that?
Some of them, I
Thank you.
some of the successful people, very successful people I have known, they kept their feet on the ground, but some, as you rightly said, get too self-confident in the wrong way and arrogant, and they even feel that they have a special claim to fame and good fortune. They have done it, and they go that way, and yet they are a number. I don't know how large that um, still don't get a swollen head, and they continue doing what is good. Some of our businessmen are of that kind. They give back to society, and some, it's human nature. The greed comes in, the thrill comes in. They get accustomed to that life, and then they go in a wrong direction, as the suggested book analyzes.
So you are one of my role models, and you are very successful from my point of view, very humble person. So what is like actual success to you, and how you have maintained that thing, because you have helped me in the past, and today also you are helping me, giving your such valuable knowing and discussing that only on one my email. And I really like you, Dr. Singh. So what is like, you would like to give a lesson to the young people who are listening to you?
Well, first I should say that the feeling is mutual. Um, you and Mustafa have been wonderful, and I also highly enjoy interacting with both of you and your friends. Uh, but I what I do is looking back. Uh, I live in the moment by and large. What Let me put it this way: I was asked a question a couple of times when I went to give a convocation address or some other conference, and they said, "Sir, could you tell us how one becomes a governor?" And I said, governor is not a line job that you like you go to a university, you become a lecturer, assistant professor, then professor, dean, president, vice chancellor, whatever. It is you do whatever you are doing well, and then if you are lucky and people see your limited achievements and what your devotion to duty, they you will be rewarded. It the idea is to do the very best in whatever you are doing. So I didn't have a career path except the job of an economist, economic development analyst, trade analyst, and international civil servant and diplomat. That was clear. Beyond that, I didn't think, and then other things you do something, somebody sees it, and then the prime minister or the president would say, "Hey, I have an opening there. How would you like to do administration?" And so, fine. President of a university does administration these days. There is no time for academic work in most cases. So it, I think, without worrying and scheming too far ahead, in my case, it was simply of doing the best I could do it wherever I was, and luckily, there are large number of very competent people. It's a question of somebody appreciating whatever you have to offer. And if you are lucky, you meet people, you meet seniors who then would help you. So it's more a question of just doing the very best in wherever you are, and not to me the returns to it in financial terms it was not much in my all the jobs in India, but they were highly satisfying. I was happier than I was making more money here. So that's the way I look at it, Afshan.
Can I enter?
So now I
Afsha?
can you please? Yes.
Or I can do it later too, once you finish.
No.
So I
Just
going
carry on.
to Singh Saab and Afsha, going back to your question for on resources, and thanks Singh Saab, you gave such an inspiring note on.
Can you?
Hello.
Yes. Can you please tell your name?
Oh, sorry. My name is Shanaz from Cleveland. Shanaz Khan from Cleveland.
Okay.
So on resources, yes, India is a vast country and has so much diversity, and I came from a educated family, but the resources, because my father was posted in a very remote area, I didn't have the resource or to go to a very good school. In fact, when I got my high school, I wasn't sure if I knew my ABCD from complete too. But my parents' motivation, they inspired me, and thank God that I like what I do, and I'm happy in what I do, and I try my best to give back to society, to my alma mater back in India, and my other that I can do. So, resource is one of the big factor there, besides other things. Yes.
Yes, Afsha, can I also say something?
Yes, Shama, sure.
Dr. Singh, actually, I'm so thankful to your views. Like Shanaz said, I am also from very humble background, and the thing you said, it matters. That what resources provided to you, and what you get out from that, and what you give back to society. This is the thing, very inspiring and very. Actually, just talking about Doon School, Harvard, or Yale, that this thing doesn't matter anymore. It matters that where you stand, what you have done, and what you have given back to society. And actually, I got very enlightened listening to you, and thank you very much, Dr. Singh.
Good, Shama.
Hello? May I know who's this?
That was a thank you to Dr. Singh.
Oh, okay.
My pleasure.
So, Shama, what does success mean to you?
See, exactly what Dr. Singh said. I was feeling like he's saying something what I feel. Success mean to me is that how you started, what resources were provided to you, and how much ahead you have gone to your life, and what you are giving back to society. Success is not about that what family you are coming from, what background, a strong background you had, and still you are a marginal person. And in your head, you're just thinking that we are elite. And these are the things, I have been actually struggling in this society. That is the reason the Muslims of India is not going ahead, because they are stuck in the past. If I'm wrong, please correct me, Dr. Singh.
Dr. Singh, do you have some views on
Well,
a very respected community?
Well, we are, of course, guided by and shaped by our circumstances. So it's correct to say that with some people, then you are in this chakra, in this circle where you can't get out, and unless there is help, then that's where the society and the formal institutions like the government come in. We have to see what led to these, and this is where the help comes. In this country, we had that help. Nehru once said that America is more socialistic than India at that time, because these land grant institutions, the land proportion that is owned by the government, the parks and all that. So it is a question of helping these people get out of that, and we do have programs, but the executors of the programs aren't doing a very good job, to be frank.
So that was my 2 cents, and thank you very much.
Okay.
I'll ask you one more question.
Afshan?
Hi. Yes. Who's this?
Hello, Afshan. This is Mustafa. I'm really very impressed with what you're carrying on, and very much impressed with the answer to Dr. Singh, that he said it's the circumstances that shape you for your success. And then if you grab that in your mind and have a good desire and fire inside to move forward, that makes a man even more perfect. Thank you, Dr. Singh, and thank you, Afshan. Thank you, Shama. You did a great, good job. Thank you.
Why, Dr. Singh, on that why India is rising today so much, even in this economy? Because you are an economist.
We could do better than we are doing. I'm glad we made this progress. Our income went up. The national income, per capita income grew for years and years, and even today I think the growth rate is above 5%. It used to be 6, 7, 8. And we are affected by the world economy, of course, trade being such an important factor. And fortunately, we have a very big internal market, so we are not as dependent on success in the trade field as many countries are. But we could do better, and the biggest problem I see from my 10 years in India after working here is this lack of leadership and the corruption and this so many political parties, each going this way, that way, and internal differences. So I think we have the resources, as the lady said a few minutes ago. We have the resources. We have the manpower. We have intelligent people in place. But somehow we cannot get together on good schemes, and we are good at drafting and making good schemes, and some of the advisors in the UN system are Indians. We are very good at it, but when it comes to executing, when it comes to translate ideas into action, we somehow fall short. And if you could stop the corruption a bit and get going, we certainly have the potential.
But in spite of corruption and everything, of interest in India from countries, what factors do you attribute to that?
Well, things. We have a system. We have an administrative system, although the political system is falling short in many areas. But we have a civil service. We have a diplomatic service, and because of that, the British, while doing a lot of harm to us and our culture and our self-confidence, did leave a good system of administration and good railroads and so on, and fairly good national integration in physical terms. So if we are doing, good, doing well, that's wonderful. But I think we are capable of doing much better if we get our act together.
Thank you so much, Dr. Singh and Shanaz, and I see Humaira here. Thank you so much, everybody, and Mustafa for joining this online book club. And next book, I'll send you an invite, which one it will be. And very soon, we'll be discussing Dr. Singh's new book, So thank you so much, Dr. Singh, for joining my club. Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye. Now I end the session. Bye.
Bye.